What's up, gang? It is Jay here, your accountability coach and ghetto psychologist, and it is my life's purpose to help Black people navigate this patriarchal system of white supremacy. Let's talk about it, y'all. What's the problem with Black people and colorism? Y'all know I'm a psychologist, so I'm going to break it down for you. Everybody hates that we reference slavery, even Black people. Black people are always tired of the slave talk. We already know the white people are tired of the slave talk, but the fucking truth of the matter is it is the very foundation of our mindset today. And when I say our mindset today, I'm talking about the entire world. You can't hold a group captive for hundreds of years, tell everybody that this group deserved to be held captive, and then think that the rest of the world doesn't see it. They notice. That's why the rest of the world, no matter where you go, is anti-Black. Yes, you can go some places where people are going to look at you and be like, oh, you're beautiful because you're Black. Of course. Sometimes they've never even seen a Black person before. I'm sorry while I'm getting this camera adjusted. So, of course, they're kind of like enthralled by us, enamored. But there are some places where it doesn't matter. They don't give a fuck. You Black, you dark, get the hell on. And that came from that. It came from chattel slavery. Let's be clear. Right? And first of all, I don't know if I said this in another video. I say so much of the same things over and over again. I don't know if I said it in another video on here. Maybe I said it on social media. But the point remains is Black people have this misconception. I'm going to start with this first and then I'm going to get into colorism. Black people have this misconception that we sold each other out. That the reason most slaves are slaves was because they were sold to the white man. I don't know why the fuck y'all think that was true across the board. It was not. They did that to make you think that we were complicit. That's a fucking bold-faced lie, right? First of all, let's think about it. Yes, there were some tribes that sold slaves to the white man, especially the tribes who already had their own slaves, and I'm gonna get into that too. The tribes that had their own slaves, and then they had the tribes. And the people who who they held captive because they just were. I don't want to say breaking the law because it wasn't like really no law, but they were just the misfits, right? So you had the slaves and the misfits. They had the misfits that were the slaves, or you had the slaves who were trying to work off debts. You know what I'm saying? That was really what the extent of slavery was back then, before pre-colonization and pre-chattel slavery. So of course there were Black people who had their own African slaves, but understand that they were slaves under the pretense, again, of working off of debt. So meaning when that debt was worked off, they could be freed, or they were misfits to society, and whatever stipulations, I don't know, that they had for their freedom, it will be granted if they met those stipulations. Chattel slavery was not about. You could never be freed if you were in chattel slavery. Let's get that clear. If you were born a slave, you were likely going to die one. It was no stipulations in which you could be freed unless you ran. So let's get that fucking clear, because I'm so tired of y'all saying that. Well, Black people wouldn't have been slaves if we never sold each other out. Get the fuck out of here if you always saying that bullshit, because that was not always the case. These people actually came and they came to villages, burned villages, snatched up people, and enchained and enslaved them. It was not mostly selling these motherfuckers out. It was not like that all the time. So let's get that clear, right? So that's one problem with Black people. But the major problem we're going to talk about today is colorism. And again, colorism does go back to slavery. Our major issue with each other goes back to slavery. I know you don't want to hear it. I know you're tired of it. You're tired of it. Slavery is an excuse. No, it's a reason, bitch. A reason. Understand the difference between a reason and an excuse. A reason. A catalyst. So let's get into it, right? And most of y'all already know the story. You know that we had the house nigga, you had the field nigga. You know you had the the interracial children who were born out of the R word. I'm just going to say the R word on here in case I decide to clip this. The R word. They were born out of the R word. So we had that little group of the interracials here. You had the people who, they might not have been interracial per se, but they were light-skinned because they may have been down the lineage of an interracial parent. You know, whatever the case. Like somebody like me, I'm light-skinned, right? I used to be darker than this, just so y'all know. But I'm light-skinned. And I know where I would be. I know where I fall. I would more than likely be in the house. But there might be an occasion where I might not have been in the house. It just depends. You never know, right? But for the most part, I know based on my skin tone, I would have been inside that house. And yes, you had more privileges if you were inside that house. Fuck what y'all was talking about. Fuck what y'all think. And it's a lot of this shit is still mirrored today. All right. I understand, and me being a lighter skinned woman, I have privileges that darker skinned women don't. It's that simple. I know where I fall. And that is why when I have been in close quarters with a dark skinned woman who just didn't like me for whatever reason, didn't have a reason, right? I hate to say that it might be just because I was light skinned, but even if it's not an invalid emotion because it's similar to how we dislike white people. However, I will say the unfair part about it, when you experience a dark skinned woman not liking you because you're light skinned, especially if you're not colorist, because I'm not colorist, okay? Not whatsoever. I come from a family of so many different shades and hues. I couldn't have been. If I'm gonna show y'all a picture of my granddad in a second, so you can see I love dark skinned people. I always wanted to be darker. Hell, even now I'll go get a tan because I feel like I'm a little too fair right now. You feel me? I don't hate dark skin. I think it's beautiful. I am not my oppressor, right? But that's the unfair part about it when it comes to being a light-skinned woman. And we got to talk about this. Because, see, y'all will say, well, colorism, dark skin. Yes, I get it, right? I get it. But it is unfair for a dark skin. Even though I understand why, it is unfair for a dark-skinned woman to just hate me just because I'm light-skinned. We gotta wake that up, too. Because I'm still black, bitch. First of all, look at my hair. I experienced texturism. Well, I'm going to talk about that, too. You know what I'm saying? I experienced my own discrimination as well. But the thing is this, though. The major issue is that light-skinned women don't understand. I understand why dark-skinned women may not like a light-skinned woman just off the bat. Much like I don't like a white person right off the bat. You got to earn that with me, baby. So I never am upset if a dark, even though I think it's unfair because it is, but I get it. Life ain't fair. Fuck it. Tough titty, bitch. Because I know I have privilege, so I'm not finna be mad at her for being mad at me. Even though the anger is misplaced. I'm only angry if she come at me funny. That's, yeah. But if you just off the bat, you just mad, I get it, and it's valid. It is valid. Very much so. Very valid. But we didn't make it this way. Right? And I know that even though I am a light-skinned woman, I know that I've been around women that are lighter than me who are fucking clueless, goofy about the fact that they experience privileges, because they sound like a lot of these white women too, because they're like, what privileges do I have? I'm still a woman like you. What privileges do I have? I'm still black like you. Are you fucking dumb? First of all, if we were to go back, like I said, to slavery, you would have been in the house. You would have been in that cool shade, serving master and missus they tea on a platter. You would have been dressed better. You would have had better access to food. Let's not act like we don't know the difference. And let's not act like we don't get goddamn fucking that. And let's not act like that pathology was not passed down. Right? Because let's be clear, nobody would have wanted to be in that field in that hot ass sun all motherfucking day. They would barely even let you drink water. You could barely even get a fucking water break. and you had to do so much manual labor. And yes, you had a production goal too. If you didn't meet that production goal, guess what? That was your ass. Nobody wanted to be outside. You know that. So they looking at you while you inside that house in the cool air, with no air conditioning, but it was cooler, of course, because of the sun, it's away from the sun, and you getting better access to food. You don't have to do as much manual labor. Yes, it's still bad. Don't get me wrong. Slavery in all senses were bad. But you don't have to do all that fucking manual labor. Yeah, why would they not be a little jealous? And so y'all are here, ooh, jealous. You trying to say, like, can we, first of all, I want y'all to stop being so emotional. Can we start there? When people tell you the truth, instead of being emotional about people saying the truth, how about you get emotional about the fact that they have to say that this thing happened is the truth? I'm always getting beat up for fucking speaking the truth instead of being mad that it happened and I have to say it. Anyway, so yes, they were jealous. Because you get something I can't get. Just based off the fact that you were born that way. Sounds familiar, right? It's all of this shit goes around in each other in itself. White people have created a projection onto us that we put onto each other. It's the whole aspect of, okay, I'm jealous because white people, okay, starting with white people, I'm jealous because black people, all the different reasons. You list all the reasons. There's so many reasons. I don't even want to go through all the reasons that white people are jealous of us. You already know. If you're black looking at this, you know. And if you white, you know. You just might not want to admit it. But they projected that onto us. And then they're like, okay, let's find a way. And I don't even think, of course, a lot of the shit that these white people did was not even deliberate. It was just so fucking masterful that it worked. Right? So let's find a way for us to pit them against each other. So we got the field nigga and the house nigga. And then we got the motherfucking overseer, which was a slave. He was the biggest sellout. Okay. If you want to think about somebody for reference, if you've seen Django, it was Samuel Jackson and Django. Right? The overseer. Master's pet. You got this nigga here, which we got a lot of them going around here today too. They want to suck master's dick. A lot of, and it's typically always a black man, ain't it? I ain't saying it don't be white, it don't be black women, but it's typically always a black man. So they want to suck master's dick, and they over here looking just like you, but telling you what to do. Might even whoop your ass on behalf of master. All right. So you got these. They separated us, and in the midst of that separation, we become jealous of each other. Because, excuse me, it's no way you would think that there's not some light-skinned women that are jealous of dark-skinned women. And vice versa, right? For different reasons. And let me not just say women. I'm sorry. Let me not limit it to women. We know. My bad. People. Because it's men and women. Let's be clear. And it's the reverse for each gender, right? Because there's a higher preference for dark-skinned men because we associate dark-skinned men to being more masculine. We associate dark-skinned men to being more stronger. I wonder where we got that from, huh? We associate dark-skinned men to just being, like I said, more of a man. And then light-skinned men, we're like, he too pretty, he too feminine, he too soft. And I ain't gonna lie, just to make it about me a little bit, this is my page. I do have a high preference for darker skinned men, but the reason being is because I was raised by a dark skinned man. And I'm not saying, it sounds weird to say, because like, what you mean you're attracted to we develop our attractions to the type of men we want based off our father figures as women. And same thing with men. You learn what you're attracted to based off your mom, right? So, and it could be characteristic or it could be, phenotype. It could be physical features. But I'm more attracted to dark skinned men. However, I don't rule out light skinned men. Matter of fact, the last two dudes I dated were around my complexion, or slightly darker. They were light. They were on the lighter side. So for me, I know that that's there though. I know it's there. I won't ever deny it. And then similarly, you have the darker skinned men most of the time who are more attracted to lighter skinned women, which is why most of the men I have dated are dark skinned. Cause I mean, I am light skinned. And it has to come a time where you could check that shit. You know what I'm saying? Where you can understand what colorism has done to us in our community. Why is it that you think dark skin in general? Because again, this still goes to dark skinned women, is more masculine, hard, all of these things. Because yes, it's good, quote unquote, for a man to be dark skinned, but not for a woman. So here we are in 2025. Now it's getting better. But we have to recognize that it is there. And we have to understand that there, again, I will always, y'all are probably going to hate this word too, hierarchy. It's a hierarchy, y'all. The hierarchy is based on so many various things. But skin tone is one of the most prevalent things that is there. Your proximity to whiteness does give you more privilege, and your proximity to whiteness is going to be based on how light you are. Duh. It's crazy that some people are still not understanding that. And much like I just said, the whole dark-skinned man, light-skinned woman thing versus the light-skinned man, dark-skinned woman thing. A lot of times you'll see that black people pair up like that. I ain't saying that's all across the board, of course. But you'll see that because even my grandparents, actually, it's so funny. I think it's beautiful when I think about it in a way, because my dad's parents, my biological father, my grandmother was dark skinned and her husband, my grandfather, was light skinned. On the other side, my mom's parents, my grandfather was the dark skinned one and my grandmother was the light skinned one. You get what I'm saying? That pairing is norm. It's like almost a norm, especially back in their day. We're talking about people who were born in the 30s. So you'll see that often because it's like, again, it's just crazy how things mirror. Like I get what you're experiencing and vice versa. You know what I mean? Because I remember my grandmother and my grandfather, they would tell us this story every now and then, how my granddaddy had to take up, well, this is my mom's parents. My granddaddy had to take up for my grandmother because she was so fair. Like my grandmother was very light skinned, hence my complexion. But my other granddaddy was light skinned too. So it's no wonder I'm light. You know what I'm saying? But they had to have that, he had to take up for her. And similarly, she would have to sometimes take up for him because my granddaddy was midnight black. Ooh, that man was dark. I loved his skin. Oh my God. I used to love, sidebar, no, still about me though. I don't care. It's my page. I used to love putting my hand on my granddaddy's hand just because of the difference in our skin tone. And it wasn't because, and I know it might be weird to some people to feel like that, but it was just such a beautiful thing to me to look and see how dark he was in comparison to me. And I used to be like, damn, I wish I was a little darker. But I don't know. It's just, I don't know. Anyway, but yeah, it's this thing that we have to understand. You know what I'm saying? And I think a lot of dark skinned men could understand some of the things that light skinned women were going through, because of course a part of it was the fetishization, and the lighter you are, the closer you are to being white. I get that too. But I think it was still kind of like this understanding, because it was like, man, I'm too dark. People don't like me because I'm too dark. And people are not going to like her because she's too light. And vice versa. Same thing with light-skinned men and dark-skinned women. I mean, it's like, it's all the same. It's all the same thing. And y'all have to check that. Look at the people that you dating. Are all of them one skin tone, do you not make space for the lighter or darker, whichever way it is, skin tone, the opposite of what you date? Are you not making space for those people? Because I see it all the time from both sides, especially to since I am around women most of the time. We're always, like I said, glamorizing dark-skinned men all the time. And my mind is like, okay, bitch, yeah, I like dark-skinned men. Like I said, I admitted that earlier, but I will still date a light-skinned man. I will. As long as I'm attracted to you, that's all it takes. I don't care what the fuck skin tone you is. Be black or non-white and be attractive. And then we can go from there. We'll see what kind of compatibility we have there. But see, I see a lot of women, no, I don't date light-skinned men. I would never date a light-skinned man. And you'll hear a lot of these dark-skinned men. I mean, yeah, a lot of men say that about dark-skinned women. I ain't dating no dark-skinned. I'm not dating no darkie. What the fuck? And again, it's all subliminal too, because colorism goes into, again, the social construct, the mindset, the pathology, right? When a darker woman is experiencing something, she gets more attacked than a light-skinned woman would. And I have to make it about women because men don't really have to deal with some of this stuff, no matter what their fucking skin tone is. Again, like I said, you will automatically look at a light-skinned man and associate him to being feminine, though that is a very, very bad thing. Very big issue. And I ain't gonna lie, some of these light-skinned niggas, I guess they done heard it so much, they're starting to embody a lot of those characteristics. Because I do see that sometimes, I ain't saying all the time, sometimes they embody that weaker persona. And I'm just like, what the fuck? You're not proving the stereotypes wrong, homie. But then we forget, though, that there's dark-skinned men. Oh, my. I done met some dark-skinned men, and I'd be like, bitch, you soft as fuck. What? Get the fuck out of here. You always crying about something. You always want something. It's always something. But see, you ain't gonna think that because he's dark-skinned. And then similarly, you have some dark-skinned men who are proving the shit right, that they are harder. They're rougher, more violent. Right? Because I think about some of the dark-skinned men that I dated, and it was just like, you are not proving the stereotypes wrong. You know? But at the end of the day, we have to just dismantle all of that. You know what I'm saying? Dismantle all of it, because we are human. We're black. At the end of the day gotta end. Right? And when that day end, you still black, bitch. Just know that. That's number one. Number two, don't be upset if you are a light-skinned person and people are automatically irritated by your existence, because they know that you experience privileges. And a lot of light-skinned people, especially back in that time when you had the white passers, they perpetuate that. They will also, like I said, exhibit colorism. And I think, again, like I said, it's similar to white people who are jealous of black people. I think a lot of it, like I said, is the light-skinned bitches are jealous of dark-skinned women. Ooh, I said it. Oh, yes, my light-skinned ass sat up here and said it. Because, again, did you hear what I said earlier? See, the thing is, I'm not a jealous person that will hate what I'm jealous of or hate who I'm jealous of. I actually just become more enamored by it. If I feel like I'm jealous, I'm enamored by it. I always wanted to be darker. I used to look at my auntie, she was dark-skinned, and I wanted to be her complexion. I just thought her skin was beautiful. She ain't never have a blemish or nothing. God rest her soul. She ain't never have a fucking blemish. Her skin tone was even all over. And I got like 5 different goddamn skin tones. You know what I'm saying? My skin's still beautiful. First of all, I'm not knocking myself. I love me. dark, light. I don't give a fuck what I look like. I love me. But the thing is, I used to want to be dark skinned. And I think a lot of light skinned women feel that way. They do. So they become jealous of dark skinned women. And then similarly, how dark skinned women are jealous of light skinned women. I'm not leaving y'all out because let's not act like y'all don't be jealous. But you're not jealous because you want to be lighter. Sometimes you are. Sometimes you are. But sometimes you're just jealous because you like, this bitch knows she's privileged because she's light skinned. And I wish I could have some of those privileges. But that don't mean I want to be light skinned. I just want those privileges. You get what I'm saying? So we can't pretend that it's not there. Y'all, again, I said this earlier, I'm going to say it again. Y'all got to stop being upset with the truth and upset with people who say the truth instead of being upset that they have to say it. Be upset that I have to say it. Don't be upset with me for saying it. Be upset that this is the reality. Don't be upset that I have to tell you that it is. Anyway, of course, I keep these episodes pretty short. I try to, because I know the average brain, 30 minutes, 25, 30 minutes. I might have some long ones here and there. But if you tuned in this long, drop a comment. Tell me what you think. Let me know what else you may want me to discuss that you may not have seen already on this page. Love y'all. Bye. Love you. Bye.